Yes, Shivam, the screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yes. So we were discussing DFM, and in DFM we saw what is to maximize and what is to minimize. And this is the design process. So in design process, you have initial conception and evaluation. That is, what are your ideas? Then you need to analyze the complete process. Then, as a design engineer, you need to give the general design, the concepts, how the product will be developed, and what are the different testing procedures. That is what you need to tell your draftsmen. Then you should give him the detailed design, of course, sketches. Then what do you mean by hardware development? Hardware development means the resources, that is equipment, which are going to be required to manufacture the product. And after the hardware development, then production of the new design starts. Then this is DTC, that is design to cost. In the question paper, only short form will be asked. So DTC or DFA, like that. So here, first thing is you have to identify the customer needs, values, and you need to establish the price. Yesterday we discussed, and then develop the trade-offs of function against cost. Means function against cost means जितना function है उतना ही cost charge करो. The meaning of this trade-off हिसाब से the pricing should be, it should not be too high as well as it should not be too low. And then continuously there has to be feedback and there has to be redesigning for the cost reduction, for the reduction of the cost. There has to be, you have to continuously take the feedback and continuously you have to do the redesign. That is how to reduce the cost. One example I told that you have to take the feedback from the market. You have to take the feedback from the customer. And these things you might have noticed also in your day-to-day life. There are surveys going on. People's Tata's bolo, HDFC bolo. They ask for the feedback, your valuable feedback, and based on that, they try to improve their services. Then design to assembly. So design to assembly means what is the production requirement? Whether you are going to assemble only one piece or there are many pieces. Whether there is whether the quantity is one, quantity is 10,000 or quantity is million. So depending upon the quantity requirement, you decide upon the labor content or work content. So how much work is involved? For example, if you take an example of bearing, so bearing assembly. So bearing assembly means number of components are 4 to 5. That is outer cage, inner cage, then balls, and then races or seals on both the sides. That's all. But if you take a example, so if you want to assemble bearing, the work content or the labor content is less. Hardly 2 workstations or 3 workstations, the assembly will be completed. But if you take example of say car, or if you take example of lorry or truck, the work content is very high. For Bolero, minimum number of workstations for assembly of Bolero will be around 40 to 80. For the truck, the Tata Telco car, Tata locomotive, which is at Jamshedpur, their assembly line is almost 800-meter long. You can take almost a kilometer, consisting of series of workstations. So there the labor content is very high. So the labor rates, you know, in India, the labor rates are also minimum labor rate is now suppose even if you want to hire a helper, a casual, you have to pay 500 rupees for 8 hours. It varies 500 rupees to as high as 2500 rupees. 2500 per for 8 hours. For 8 hours. Like suppose if you want to hire a mistri, a carpenter, it will ask for 2200. A painter for 8 hours. It will be around 1400 1500 rupees. Only labor. So the labor rates are also high in India. Okay, but of course not as high as your foreign countries like your USA's. Then
Excuse
life of
me,
the
sir.
product. So what life?
So some students
Yeah.
are eating.
Then another is direction and position of the job axis. The meaning of the direction and position of job axis means how you are going to insert the various components. How you are going to insert the various components. So as far as possible, you have to see that all the components of the particular product should be assembled in one axis. Let's say from vertical axis. From vertical axis. That is what is preferred. But it may not be possible. It depends upon the product, isn't it? It depends upon the product. Like some assembly lines, uh, you can see in some assembly lines, the car assembly lines, the cars they are lifted up. It is from the there are overhead conveyors, and the laborers or the workers they are assembling. They are in a standing position and they are assembling from the down. They are standing on the floor and doing the assembly. Isn't it? So that is what is very easy. Whereas in India, uh, sometimes what happens, we go below the car and assemble, or there are pits. So the peoples are there in the pits and they do the assembly. Ergonomics are paid very high attention in uh, foreign plants. Volkswagen bolo, Mercedes bolo. There the ergonomics are paid very high. Ergonomics bolo or safety, they are paid very high attention. Then what are the different mechanisms of automatic control? So different mechanisms of automatic control are like assembly line. Suppose if you want to do assembly line automatic, car assembly line below, furniture assembly line below, lock assembly line, then the parts has to feed automatically. So there are part feeders. Then magazines. Magazines means kind of a pockets in which your products are inserted. These magazines are used in CNC assembly lines, CNC machine assembly lines. Vibratory feeder balls. Vibratory feeder balls they are used in they are common in pharmaceutical assembly lines. Pharmaceutical assembly. Pharmaceutical में जो capsules रहते हैं, they are kept in a feeder and that feeder vibrates and the capsules they come down and later on they are assembled. So that is what is called as the vibratory feeder. Then non-vibratory feeder. Non-vibratory feeder means it will come under the gravity. It will come under the gravity. So these feeders are slow under gravity, whereas vibratory feeder balls are fast. The feeding is fast. Transfer device. Transfer device means from one station to another station. How the component is transferred. Like if I give example of say car assembly line. So there you have to push from one workstation to other workstation. You have to pull the chassis or you have to pull the car manually. Uh, that is we can say manually transfer. Uh, but most of the assembly lines, the products they are kept on the conveyor. which is mechanized. Conveyor which is mechanized means what? That conveyor is rotating. So at the end, it's a big conveyor, maybe around say 200 or 300 meters long. And on that conveyor, your car uh, it travels. And at the two ends, there are motor and heavy gearboxes. Motor of 25 HP, motor and reduction gearbox, which will give the torque, higher torque. And thus the conveyor rotates, and then on the conveyor, these chassis and cars they move. So the peoples they have to move along with the car. So the car is moving slowly on the conveyor. So the people from one workstation. Uh, Suppose there are two people, they are working on particular workstation. That is their responsibility. Is they have to mount a rear axle. So the car is moving slowly. The conveyor is moving slowly on which the car is mounted, and the car is moving slowly. Okay, so the people they have to move. The rear axle is dropped with the help of a crane on the chassis, which is turned around. मतलब chassis उल्टा रहेगा, बराबर है. उसके ऊपर rear axle ड्रॉप करेंगे एंड देन जो वर्कर है वो दोनों साइड से उसको फिट करेंगे, nut bolts वगैरह, and they have to move along with the conveyor because the car is also moving slowly, and then once that assembly, that axle is completed or gearbox is completed, then again they have to come back to their previous position. क्योंकि वो previous position में दूसरा chassis अभी आया है, and these things goes on repeating. So this is what is called the transfer device. So it can be manual or it can be automatic also. Then rotary assembly machine. Rotary assembly machine means there are magazines or pockets, six six pockets, 10 pockets, depending upon the component size and the space available, and it rotates. The magazine rotates. It is something like your turret lathe. Turret lathe में जैसा hexagon rotate होता है. It is exactly same. Then incline indexing assembly machine. Incline indexing assembly machine. This is a special purpose machine where the station or the platform is inclined, and it can be indexed also. It can be indexed. It can be rotated also. So these are the different mechanisms for automatic control. Nobody is going to ask you the mechanisms. Explain the mechanism. Explain the transfer device. So this we have discussed already, that what are the functions of the product engineer to design the product for the function, the testing, and to design the product for the customer satisfaction, to design the product for the cost. What are the functions of the process engineer? To determine the basic manufacturing processes, to determine sequence, that is operation sequence, determine order, tooling and gauges, and select order equipment, process revisions, follow estimation. Estimation means for giving the quotations. Then cost reduction, part drawing change. Part drawing change means he has to give the request to the product engineer. He is not authorized to change the drawing. Let me tell you. Then he is a part of various study groups or various Kaizen groups or various quality circles. He is a part of that group, and he is actively involved in all the groups. Okay, so requirements of process engineers to be written properly means there are two questions which are asked, and students always give wrong answer for that. What are the functions and what are the requirements? Functions means duties. Functions means duties. That is what process engineer is supposed to do. That he has to he has to develop the process plan, then he has to place an order uh, for the equipments with the help of a process department. These are his duties, or these are his functions. And what are the requirements? Requirement means a process engineer should be qualified. This is his requirement. Or process engineer should have knowledge of all the machines, he should have knowledge of toolings, he should be at least 5 years experience. So these are the requirements of processing. So both the things not to be mixed. Because in requirements also the students they write functions only. Requirement. The process requirement may they write process engineer is required to place an order of the equipment. No, that is not a requirement. You should have a knowledge of work order. You should have knowledge of purchase procedures. That is a requirement. So don't confuse with the requirement and functions. Now this is engineering release and ECN. So engineering release and ECN, again it can be asked for 2 marks to 5 marks. For MCQ as well as for short notes. So engineering release is different and engineering change note is different. Engineering release means what? That is the product engineering department, they are giving the or they are issuing the drawing. They are issuing the drawing. So engineering release provides authority to process engineer to proceed. Understand? Like पिक्चर रेडी है, फिल्म रेडी है, लेकिन अभी तक रिलीज नहीं हुआ. The film is ready, but it is not yet released. Okay, so drawings are ready, product drawings are ready, but they are not released for the production. So remember the difference. So engineering release, unless and until the release is received, process engineer or production engineer or whoever is not authorized to start the production. So engineering release will provide the authority to the process engineer to proceed with the manufacturing, and that will include what engineering release will include the purchase order or work order, mm, and what is the quantity to be produced and what is the date of the completion. So that is what is called the engineering release. Sometimes even the customer name is also mentioned in engineering. That is for which customer this product is being manufactured. And then this date, part number, part name, model, material, model number, sub-assembly. This is the content of the drawing. The content of the drawing. See, there is a difference between, I try to understand, there is a difference between engineering release and engineering drawing. Engineering drawings are prepared, but they are not yet released for the production. It's like film is ready, production film is ready, but it is not yet released in the theaters, or you know for the audience. So that's the difference between engineering release and engineering drawing. Now there is a difference between engineering release and engineering change note also, ECN. That is also different. ECN. Now what is ECN? ECN is nothing but sometimes what happens, you get a better material, or sometimes the material which is suggested by the product engineer is not available. So you are looking for alternate material. So this feedback has to be given to the product engineer by process engineer or by marketing people or by the customer, whatever feedback is received. अरे आपने जो मटेरियल जो स्पेसिफाई किया है उससे भी अच्छा मटेरियल है, तो दिस इज द फीडबैक एट द सेम कॉस्ट, सो व्हाई नॉट गो फॉर दैट मटेरियल. कभी कभी हम लोग वो इंश्योरेंस वाला कैसा, अरे ये प्लान अच्छा है वो प्लान अच्छा है, इच्छे दिस प्लान इज बेटर to go for this plan, so like that it is. Then sometimes materially available नहीं रहता है, so we look for the alternate equivalent material. Okay, then tolerances are not achievable. Whatever tolerances product engineer has given in the drawing, they may be too tight. Tolerances may be too tight or too close. So that may not be possible to achieve because the machines or the resources what we have on that, those tolerances cannot be achieved. So this feedback again you have to give. So either you change the tolerances or you provide the better resources. So tolerances are not achievable. Then machines are not available because for manufacturing say certain component, like say if you want to manufacture say 10,000 components, okay, and threading is there, so you cannot get 10,000 components have 1 lakh pieces, you cannot make it on lathe machine, in a given time. For that you need to have a setup of thread rolling. You have to have thread rolling machines. Otherwise, you can do this. So machines are not available. So that is what you have to tell. This is what is feedback. So then what happens? The process engineer just give a request. We prepare a request for ECN. So he gives, process engineer gives, remember, process engineer gives the request with all this feedback for engineering change note. And remember, engineering change note is not prepared by the process engineer. It is very clearly I have written and I am also telling again and again. Engineering change note is prepared by the product engineer based on the feedback received by the from the customer. Peoples, they give feedback, and then product engineering department they prepare the engineering change note. So in that engineering change note there will be a request number. Okay, request number, that is from whom or from where this request has come. What is the reason? You need to give the justification. That based on the feedback received from the market, this material is not available uh, in the market. So alternative material is suggested. Then change date. Change date. And suppose some parts as per the earlier drawings they are available in stock. Then you have to mention that also. Parts in stock. Then what are the details of part change? That is what exactly the change is. Then what is the reason or reasons for the change? And then with from what date it will be effective. That also you have to mention. Like it cannot be sudden because it may happen that the products are already in the production. Like if you are changing the tolerances, okay, somehow people are trying to make that tolerances and somehow the production is being carried out with some difficulty. Okay, so it is already under production. So we have to give some time, for the change. All of a sudden you cannot give. Then कल से आज टाइम है सपोज 9 बजे का रिपोर्टिंग है कल से tomorrow you have to report at say 7 o'clock in the morning. So with short notice it's not possible, correct? Because the people they have to make the arrangement from 9 o'clock to 7 o'clock, waking up in the early in the morning, or some kind of arrangements they have to do. The same thing is here. The effective date, from which date it will be effective, that is to be mentioned. Then, what is the difference between product and process engineers? Based on the inputs, whatever I have given, you have to write this properly. And whenever the difference is asked, let me tell you, the habit of some students, they write it in the short note form, and I still give the marks. But definitely, if it is 5 marks, 1 or 2 marks. Actually, first thing is that if you are writing it as a short note, it should not be checked. Uh, that student can get 0 marks if it is not in a tabular form. Difference means it has to be in a tabular form. It cannot be in a short note kind of thing. Like even in the product, the student they write like a short note, product engineer, and इसका 4-5 लाइन लिखते हैं continuously, and then process engineer continuously 4-5 लाइन. This is not actually acceptable. Not acceptable. You have to write in a tabular form. You must write in a tabular form. Otherwise, you will not get full marks. Okay, so this was your process engineering and product engineering course. Now we will go for preliminary part print analysis. So your first assignment will be based on product engineering and process engineering. And second assignment will be based on preliminary pathway analysis. And you have to start studying the drawing which I will upload, which I will show now. You have to start reading and understanding that drawing. This is that drawing. Let me share. This component is called as the trans-bearing cage, and there are 9 steps in preliminary pathway analysis which you need to write as it is. So this is one drawing of rocker arm. So you need to understand this drawing properly. Then I will show one more drawing, that is trans-bearing cage. Where is that drawing? Here, here it is, trans-bearing cage. Just have a look on this. I'll upload it. These are the two views. Just have a look on this. Try to understand this drawing properly. I just give you 1 minute, not 2 minutes.
Oh, lol.
Excuse me, sir. Hello. Sir,
Yeah. Hello. Yes, Shivam. Can you hear me?
yeah, sir.
Yeah. Now you speak for on this drawing for a minute. Hello. 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 Shivam.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Speak on this drawing for a minute. For a minute or less than a minute, whatever possible. Ashish is there. Ashish Panchal, can you speak on this drawing for a minute? I just want to know means what is your inference. That's why I give you the time. What is your inference? Or anyone, anybody can speak. Ashish Panchal. Okay. Now I will ask you some questions. Okay, Shivam. Hello. What is the material of this component?
So grey cast iron.
Very good. What is the quantity to be produced?
So
It's not
actually
given.
I can't see it.
It's not given. Huh? So you can say
Okay.
it's not given. So you can assume some quantity because as I said, that quantity is very important. Without quantity, you cannot proceed. Correct? What is the part name? What is the name of this component? Hello, Shivam.
Yeah,
What
sir.
is the name? What is the name of this component?
Bearing gauge, sir.
Bearing cage. Trans bearing cage. Huh? How many
Okay.
dimensions are there in tolerances? In closed tolerances. This.
Sir, in what?
How many dimensions are there in closed tolerances? In closed tolerances. How many dimensions are there in closed tolerances? In closed tolerances. This, देखो,
4, sir.
120. What is the tolerance on this dimension? 125.0. What is the tolerance here?
Sir, get your mouse there. No, I can't see it properly.
Here, this. How much is the tolerance here? How much is the tolerance here? 125.00, 124.98. So how much is the tolerance?
Sir, repeat it. I'll write because I can't see it.
See, can you see this dimension? Can you read this dimension?
No,
It
sir.
is it is arey, the drawing is visible, no? It is 125.00 and 124.98. Isn't it? Can you see this?
Now I can see it, sir.
Yeah. It is 125.00 and 124.98. So what is the tolerance?
Point 1.
अरे पॉइंट वन कसा काय रे बाबा पॉइंट
9. Acha, point 02, sir. Sorry.
पॉइंट
9,
झिरो
8 and. Huh.
so that is 20 micron. Okay.
Yeah.
Here 20 micron. So that means this tolerance is very close. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
how much is the tolerance here? This is 109.00 and this is 108.7. So what is the tolerance here? Total tolerance 0.3.
3.
Here it is, yeah,
300
0.02.
micron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
300 micron. Very good. Now suppose, now what is this type of tolerance called as? This type of tolerance is called as whether it is unilateral or bilateral.
The
Whether it is
unilateral.
unilateral because it is on one side. Correct.
Yeah.
Now, can you convert this on bilateral bilateral tolerance? Bilateral means
Yeah,
plus
sir.
minus. That is called as the bilateral.
124.99 and
Very
125.01.
so we can say 124 point orally you are done. There is nothing there. There is 2 marks
Yeah.
question. It is 124.99 plus minus 0.01. Correct?
Yeah.
124.99 plus minus 0.01. Can you convert this into bilateral tolerance? This is 109.00 and 108.7.
108.85
Very good. Plus minus.
plus minus um, 0.15.
एग्जैक्टली तो कैसे करते हैं हम लोग देखो टोटल टॉलरेंस कितना है 300 माइक्रोन बराबर है तो 300
300
डिवाइडेड बाय 2 किया
divided
तो
by
1
2.
150 और इसका एवरेज निकालते हैं बराबर है 109.00
Yeah.
एंड 108.7 तो इसका एवरेज आ गया 108.85 एंड प्लस माइनस 150 माइक्रोन राइट so this is what is called as the bilateral tolerance so I just wanted to see that whether you are able to understand this component or not now is this a round component or it is a prismatic component prismatic means rectangular or square what kind of
Prismatic, sir.
prismatic इसमें see this is round ये पूरा round है and this ये जो है that is only rectangle ठीक है okay
Yeah.
good observation now what are the steps in preliminary part PPAP again in the question they will ask only this PPAP over there. Explain hmm, triple P or explain triple PA. So what is the first step here? So first step is and you have to write like this one. This is Roman, then A B C D, then again in A B you have 1 2 3 4 5. So this is the main step, then this is the sub step, and again this is the sub step. So you have to answer like this one. And this is asked for the 10 marks. Explain the steps in preliminary part print analysis. The full form of PPPA is preliminary part print analysis. So here you are doing the analysis of the drawing of the print. So first step is establishing the general characteristics of the workpiece. General characteristics. In that now A is general description of the part. So in general, you have to write it like this. So this is what is going to be your second assignment, general description of the part. So in general description of the part, you have to write part name. So what is the part name for this drawing? Trans bearing cage. Part number. If it is not given in the drawing, you can write part number. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 digits. Function of the part. Function of the part you have to infer आपका जो knowledge है 3 साल का engineering का theory knowledge practical knowledge based on that you have to infer you have to understand the function of the part now here majority of the times the function of the part is included in the name itself it is included in the name itself understand it's included in the name itself like trans bearing cage okay trans मतलब transverse bearing और केज केज मतलब पिंजरा बराबर है सो क्या हो गया बेरिंग के लिए पिंजरा बराबर दैट मींस दिस फंक्शन ऑफ दिस प्रोडक्ट इज व्हाट इट इज गोइंग टू हैव bearing inside the this component a bearing कहाँ पे बैठेगा obviously the bearing will be here this यहाँ पे बराबर there is no other way there is no other place where the bearing the bearing इसमें बैठेगा और बेरिंग के अंदर से क्या जाएगा ऑब्वियसली शाफ्ट आएगा बराबर है एंड देन दिस यहाँ पे बोल्ट है दैट मींस ये किधर भी तो फिक्स होने वाला है दिस कवर एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू दिस विल गो इनसाइड समथिंग दिस 125 isn't it that means एक गियर बॉक्स एज्यूम करो गियर बॉक्स का जो एंड कवर्स है उसमें से ये कवर जाएगा, हाँ ठीक है, और ये कवर के अंदर बेरिंग रहेगा और बेरिंग के अंदर से शाफ्ट, बराबर है। तो गियर बॉक्स का जो शाफ्ट जो बाहर आता है, जो कि मोटर को कपल होता है एक साइड में, और दूसरा साइड में क्या होता है, इट गोज टू द चेन या स्प्रॉकेट, बराबर है। तो वो जो एक्सटेंडेड शाफ्ट है वो इसमें से पास होएगा, ये एंड कवर में से पास होएगा। सो you have to have your own inference, you have to have your own inference. So most of the times it is clear from the at least 50% तो idea आ जाता है नाम से, ठीक है। So first we'll go through the steps, and then we will see, we will take an example and we will try. So function of the part is clear. Then B. B is general configuration of the part. General configuration. CONFIG. General configuration of the part. So now in general configuration of the part, you have to write these many steps. Type of handling. Type of handling. The type of handling में क्या? Now there are two things. There are two issues here in type of handling. Whether you are going to handle manually, between the machines or between the departments, that is one thing. And second thing is on the machines. See, one thing is handling between department to department, like say from raw material stores to the machine shop. In the machine shop, the component you have to take it to the lathe machine. Then from the lathe machine, you have to carry it to the, let's say, milling machine. From the milling machine, drilling machine. Then from the drilling machine to the inspection department. Then from the inspection department to the finished goods stores or warehouse. So this is what is movement, which is interdepartmental movement, or between the machines. That is one handling. And second handling is on the machine. Like you want to mount this component on the machine, you have to hold this component in a ledger, or you have to hold this component or mount this component on drilling machine or on milling machine. So how you are going to handle it? Okay. Now Shivam, can you tell me this particular component, assuming the quantity or assuming a batch size of say 500 pieces, how you will handle in between machines or in department, and how you will handle on the machine? Can you tell me? It may be wrong also, nothing wrong, just try. Hello, hello Shivam, are you there? You understood what I asked? छोड़ गया क्या?
No, sir, I'm here.
Yeah. What I'm asking now, this quantity is say 500 pieces. Okay, so how you are? It's a bag. See, the yearly requirement is say 72,000 pieces. Okay, or say 60,000 pieces. That is yearly required quantity. 60,000.
Yeah.
So per month you have now all the 60,000 pieces you are not going to manufacture at a time, because there will be a lot of inventory. So
Yeah.
you will take a batch of say 500 pieces in a month. So आप 500 पीस आप एक महीने में देंगे and you will complete a target of 60,000 pieces. Now आपका batch size है 500. You understood the difference between batch size and the total quantity? So
Yeah, sir.
500 का batch है. Now ये जो 500 pieces है, how you are going to handle between departments and on the machine? ऑन द मशीन मीन्स अभी इसका काम है, लेथ के ऊपर भी रहेगा, ड्रिलिंग के ऊपर ये ड्रिल करना है, मिलिंग के ऊपर ये साइज बनाना है 140 by 140. सो हाउ यू विल हैंडल दिस component between machine to machine or between department, and how you will handle the component on the machine? Okay, so no problem. So let me tell you now type of the handle. So if obviously it is 500 pieces and you know the size, rough size is around 140 by 140. So you can take your raw material size as 6 inch by 6 inch. That is 150 by 150 considering the finishing. Right. So you can imagine 6 inch by 6 inch or its thickness है 2 inch. So you can imagine how the what is the component size. So how to handle. So between the machines you can handle. You can keep it in the bins, 50 piece, and those beans you can keep it on a forklift, uh, or in a trolleys, and you can move those trolleys manually or on a track or on the rails, in order to move from department to department or from machine to machine. Okay. So आपने एक बिन लेके आया ट्रॉली में से, बराबर है, और मशीन के बाजू में रख दी, बराबर है। अभी उसमें से आपको मशीन के चक के ऊपर लगाना है वो पीस. So how you are going to use crane, or you can easily load it on the machine, or you need help of some person. दो आदमी है. So how you will decide? So for that you need to calculate weight of the component, isn't it? That is very very important. As a estimation engineer, you must be able to find out the weight of component. So for the weight, you should know the density and the volume. Normally, the thumb rule is if the weight of the component is less than 5 kilo, then you person can lift it manually and hold it in a chuck and clamp it. If it is more, like say 7 kilo, 8 kilo, and 10 kilo component per weight, then he needs another person to help. तो दो आदमी लगेंगे, और उससे भी अगर वजन है 15 किलो 20 किलो, then you may need a crane, to lift that component and load it on the machine. So that is heavy machine. This is what I mean by type of handling. So type of handling, you can use forklifts, you can use trolleys, you can use hand trucks, you can use rails, hmm, you can use cranes also. Hmm. Again, it depends what the component shape and the size of the component also. Hmm. Sometimes the components are very small. The components are very delicate. For example, uh, electronic components. Hmm, the components are very fragile. So in that case, or very thin walled components, एकदम पतला component रहते हैं. So in that case, you have to handle those components like newborn baby. So newborn baby रहता है, how delicately, how you know precisely we handle newborn baby. So like that. Then list the machines required. So what are the machines? I will take an example and we will do this. Just these are the steps. So list the machines required. What are the machines which will be required for this particular component? Now ये जो transferring cage है, it will require lathe machine, drilling machine, milling machine. Right? Then list the tooling. List the tooling means the jigs, fixtures, cutting tools. Then list the sequence of operation. So sequence of operation आपको लिखना है. पहला क्या है? Receive the material. Then raw material inspection. Then lathe machine, turning, first setup, second setup. Then milling, square. Then drilling. In between, if you want to add inspection, you can add inspection. So like that. And then final inspection. Then delivery or dispatch. Then rate of the production. Now here rate of the production में पहला आपको roughly लिखना है कि what will be the rate of production. You are not doing any calculation. You are just estimating. Can I ask somebody that how many components this can be produced on a lathe machine? See on lathe machine, obviously you need to have two setups. एक setup में आप क्या करेंगे? आप यहाँ पे होल्ड करेंगे चक में ऑन दिस स्क्वायर, एंड यू विल डू दिस टर्निंग. ये टर्निंग करेंगे, ये भी टर्निंग करेंगे पूरा बोर्ड. ओके, ये फेसिंग करेंगे, ये फेसिंग करेंगे. ठीक है, ये हो गया स्टेप वन. एंड ऑफ कोर्स इट्स अ हॉलो कास्टिंग, इट्स नॉट अ सॉलिड. एंड देन सेकंड सेटअप में यू आर गोइंग टू डू ओनली दिस फेसिंग. ओके, and then this radius turning and this spacing. That's all. So can anybody tell me what will be the time required for setup one approximately? एंड सेटअप 2. सेटअप 1 में मैंने बोला आपको ये करना है, ये ग्रू करना है, ये बोर करना है, दिस चैम्पर और ये बोर एंड दिस टेपर एंड दिस टर्निंग एंड दिस फेसिंग. सेटअप 2 में आपको ये फेसिंग करना है, ये रेडियस करना है और ये फेसिंग करना है. दैट इज इन सेटअप 2. ऑफ कोर्स ये जो है ये दिस विल बी डन ऑन द मिलिंग. सो कैन एनीबॉडी टेल मी अप्रोक्सीमेटली सेटअप 1 को कितना टाइम लगेगा और सेटअप 2 को कितना टाइम लगेगा रफली? Shivam, can you tell me how much time it will take?
सर कुछ और पैरामीटर्स बताओ ना, लाइक सम
क्या
आर
पैरामीटर्स चाहिए?
सर. ऐसा अप्रोक्सीमेटली कैसे बोल सकते हो?
दैट इज व्हाट इज योर ओन इन्फरेंस. बाद में तो हमको कैलकुलेट करना है, लेकिन ये जो स्टेप है एट दिस पॉइंट यू हैव टू राइट अप्रोक्सीमेटली कि सपोज आधा घंटा में हो जाएगा या 15 मिनट में हो जाएगा सेटअप 1, और सेटअप 2 में खाली फेसिंग है और रेडियस है तो उसको 5 मिनट लगेगा. अप्रोक्सीमेटली आपको बोलना है यहाँ पे. एंड देन नेक्स्ट स्टेप में आपको कैलकुलेट करना है एंड यू हैव टू कंपेयर आपका जो अंदाज था वो और कैलकुलेटेड उसमें कितना डिफरेंस है. सी एज अ प्रोसेस इंजीनियर समटाइम्स यू हैव टू एस्टिमेट आल्सो कितना टाइम लगेगा, 10 मिनट 15 मिनट. हाँ, सो दैट इज व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इन दिस सेटअप. ये जो स्टेज में हम लोग ये कर रहे हैं. ओके, रेट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन मतलब मैन्युअली आपको लिखना है यहाँ पे. मटेरियल, व्हाट इज द मटेरियल? कास्ट टाइल. हाउ द पार्ट इज ओरिजिनेटेड मतलब इसका बेसिक प्रोसेस कौन सा है रॉ मटेरियल का. इन दिस केस it is casting, बराबर. It is not made by forging or it is not made by rolling, it is made by casting. That is what is called as the how the part is originated. Then recorded changes in design. तो यहाँ पे देखना है ये ड्राइंग में केयरफुली इसमें कुछ चेंजेस वगैरह है क्या, कुछ रिविजन्स है क्या. if it is not then you have to write nil, no changes. Then resistance to damage in the process. Resistance to damage in the process मतलब अगर आपका हैंडलिंग में is it likely to get damage. फॉर एग्जाम्पल कंसिडर दिस नाउ, ये बुश है और इसका थिकनेस 1 mm है, 1 mm थिकनेस. तो इसको प्रॉपरली अगर हैंडल नहीं करेंगे तो ये दबने का चांस है एक के ऊपर एक कैसे भी डम किए. तो these आर लाइकली टू डैमेज. ये पूरा मतलब ये जो राउंड है सर्कुलर है वो एलिप्स बन जाएगा, कोलैप्स हो जाएगा. दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज द रेजिस्टेंस टू डैमेज. या कुछ समटाइम्स सम कंपोनेंट्स आर ग्राउंड. So in that case, if you are not handling properly, that finish may get spoiled. So this is what is called as the damage in the process. Okay, so that was we are still discussing step 1, establishing the general characteristics of the workpiece. Okay, so step 1 के बाद step 2, step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, there are altogether 9 steps in preliminary part fit analysis. So first I will explain you all these 9 steps. Then I will take an example. Hmm? I will do one preliminary part analysis and then you have to do the assignment, the practical. Okay, I'll take quickly the attendance. Okay, Bobde, तो absent ही रहते हैं. प्रसन्ना,
So present.
अनिकेत, यश, रेनन, शुभम,
Present, sir.
शुभम, सिद्धांत,
Present,
अस्मित,
sir.
प्रेजेंट
अस्मित,
सर.
वलेंका,
Present, sir.
कृतिका,
Present, sir.
अमोक,
Present, sir.
पहला लेक्चर अमोक, अद्वैत, उपकार,
Present, sir.
Sir, sir, Advait present.
साहिल,
प्रेझेंट सर.
काल कुठे गेलेलास?
सर जरा आजारी आहे.
टेक केअर, टेक केअर. विशाल, ओमकार, हर्ष, सबन,
Present, sir.
शर्मा,
प्रेजेंट सर.
धीरज, माधव, डिम्पल,
Dimple present.
प्रणव, शनी, अली,
प्रेजेंट सर.
प्रेझेंट
सर
सर.
अली,
हा सर.
प्रशील,
प्रेझेंट सर.
उमंग,
प्रेझेंट सर.
विवेक,
प्रेझेंट सर.
ऋषिकेश, एहसान, एहसान खान, सलमान खान,
Sir, Salman Khan present, sir.
प्रथमेश,
प्रेझेंट सर.
कोणार.
Sir, Salman Khan present, sir.
Yeah, I am also present. Correct, sir, प्रथमेश. कोणार,
Present, sir.
लोगो,
Present, sir.
सॅमसन, शेल्डन,
प्रेझेंट सर.
शेल्डन,
प्रेझेंट सर. येस येस.
सॅमसन is also present. विशाल,
प्रेझेंट सर.
अभिषेक, मुकरी, ऋषिकेश,
प्रेझेंट सर.
आशिष, नीरव,
प्रेझेंट सर.
ऋग्वेद, परमार, ध्रुव, पटेल, पवार, पोळ, हिमांशु,
प्रेझेंट सर.
आदिल,
Present, sir.
शेखर, दीपेन, आकाश,
Sir, Adil present.
हा मार्क, शिवम प्रेझेंट, ध्रुव, मंथन,
प्रेझेंट सर.
मनीष, भू, मंथन,
मंथन सर.
yeah. आणि मनीष ऍबसेंट. ओके, थँक्यू.
सर
या
हा सर
बोलो.
लेक्चरच्या वेळेला ना खूप आवाज असतो.
आजच ना, आज होता ना आवाज.
हो हो सर.
आज आज जरा डिस्टर्बन्स आहे.
अच्छा.
काल परवा तर नव्हतं ना.
नाही एवढं नाही सर. आज खूप होतं.
हा आज खूप होतं. थोडं काम चालू.
ठीक आहे सर.
ओके, थँक्यू.
थँक्यू.
प्रणव तंडाले.